This is what happens when a man boxes a woman.
Yes. Oh!
And that's why men shouldn't be able to compete against women in boxing, but now they're allowed to. Welcome back to the JP Reacts channel, my beautiful freedom-loving friend, where we like to call out the lies, hypocrisy, and corruption of tyrants and satanic activity, shine the light of awareness on woke absurdities, and highlight the amazing work of other freedom fighters. Now, if you've been watching me for a while, you'll know I'm a massive fan of women's sports, especially when there's men competing. It makes things a little bit more interesting, doesn't it? And of course, we've seen examples time and time again of this plot of inclusiveness going wrong. Well, you haven't seen anything yet, because boxing just announced men are allowed to compete in the women's division, assuming they identify as a woman and their testosterone levels are below a certain point. Now, we'll get back to that opening clip you saw and some other supportive material that shows just how bad of an idea this is. But first, here's the latest story. On the Daily Wire, USA Boxing allows men to fight women with new transgender guidelines. The purpose of this policy is to provide fairness and safety for all boxers. Footnote, all boxers except the women. USA Boxing on Friday officially adopted a new transgender policy, can't wait, which will permit males who identify as female, therefore they're a female, because their imagination should be your reality, to compete against females if they meet certain qualifications. The new policy outlines that male athletes, well, how could that be? If they're a male athlete, well, how are they in the women's division? I thought, men being women are just women, but they're calling them male athletes. I'm confused. Maybe you can just decipher this, but I'm just going to read along. The new policy outlines that male athletes, in addition to claiming to be female, no correlation to being female, must complete gender reassignment surgery and test their testosterone levels for 4 years following such procedures. And the finer print of demonstrating testosterone levels for 4 years. The athlete must demonstrate that now her total testosterone level in serum has been below 5, nanomoles per liter for at least 48 months prior to her first competition. And the athlete's total testosterone level in serum must remain below 5 nanomoles per liter throughout the period of desired eligibility to compete in the female category. And with some other numbers shared, another piece of important information, a qualifying male for the females division therefore could have more than double the testosterone level of an average female competitor. But who cares? And the new USA Boxing policy also notes boxers under 18 years old must compete against others within the same sex, no matter their declaration of gender identity. The guidance also clarifies. That's awesome. Cool. At least they're using common sense for minors, but uncommon sense for adults. You got an F, right? Now, the opening clip you saw, which we will scrutinize again in a second, that is a female boxing champion ranked number 1 in the world, named Clarissa Shields. So in other words, for a woman, she is a badass, literally the best female boxer in the world. So what man was she sparring with in that video where she got knocked out? Well, according to Zero Hedge, that man was an average male fighter. And here you can see that boxer is a man named Arturs Amatov with a professional record of 6 wins, 2 by knockout, and 1 loss by knockout. So in the world of boxing, I guess he's considered an average male boxer. Not top of the class, but he's obviously a good boxer, but average male boxer. Got it. Compared to Clarissa Shields, undefeated in the women's category, 14 wins, 2 knockouts, 0 losses, and ranked number 1 in both the US and the world, which you can see here. She is literally the best female boxer in the world, competing against a man. And just as a reminder, let's see how that worked out for her. She's talking trash. I like it.
Yes. Oh!
And that's testosterone meeting her face. I just want to fact check something with you one more time. What did the USA Boxing say this guideline is for? The purpose of this policy is to provide fairness and safety for all boxers. Cool. That's what safety and fairness looks like to women. Now, I'm not a big believer in just calling random stuff misogyny, but I would dare say that's misogyny. Now, I don't know many women that compete in boxing, but obviously they're out there. I just don't hang out in their circles. And if that's what they want to do, I believe they should have the freedom to compete in boxing because they want to. Part of freedom is protecting and preserving. Like, you have to have boundaries. Your freedom shall not be infringed on, or else it ain't freedom. And some would say, certainly not me, because I'm all about inclusiveness, as you know, but some would say allowing men who now identify as women and have lower testosterone than the average man, but potentially double the testosterone of an average woman, who have maybe had way higher, the average male's testosterone can be up to 18 times higher than that of the average women's testosterone. So they could have had that in their system for decades. And then after a 4-year period of a little machete action and then some hormonal therapy, now that individual is competing against a woman who just wants the freedom to compete in the sport that she wants to against other women. Well, USA Boxing has taken that freedom from her for the purpose of her safety and fairness. At this point, you might be saying, JP, I love women's sports too, just like you, and I especially love them also when men compete against women. And to the best of my ability, I have not been able to detect any physiological difference between men and women. So this boxing example that you gave, well, by showing the footage of a man knocking out literally the best female boxer in the world, that's just one example. That's probably a freak incident. She probably just had a stroke. She's probably been very compliant. That was just a safe and effective stroke she had. That wasn't a knockout. Cool, and you're probably right. But just for food for thought, here's a little compilation of what else it looks like when men compete against women. Starting with a proud dad posting a clip of his daughter making her first catch in a football game competing against boys. And you'll be able to tell who his daughter is because she gets sent to the next dimension.
And then they... Motion! The guy ran at 50 yards. Get him.
Whoa. You gotta admire that guy. Like, he just flattened her, but then he went in to pound her more. And luckily the other Marines around him had sense enough to pull him off her. But the question I have is, why the hell did the Marines in the first place have him ready to flatten a woman? I don't know. The military's gotten pretty inclusive, just like USA Boxing recently. Let's see more.
Men always say how women's soccer sucks.
It does.
Then come to the field and try it with us.
Well, they did. That is a man making the women look like children. But weirdly, women competing against other women in professional soccer, they're able to appear to be professional soccer players as they should. But here's what else it looks like when 60-year-old men compete against professional women's soccer players. Which, by the way, you may have heard recently about what was it, like, I think it was like the 15-year-old boys national team competing against the Women's World Cup team or Women's National team, and the 15-year-old boys who are not even professional trample them. Now, this next little clip, this is track and field. And I believe it's a 400-meter relay race. And you'll see there's, in this opening heat, one man, and I believe the rest are women. And you'll say, why in the hell would that be? Now, this isn't like a woman kind of man. It's like a man. So this is like a mixed relay where each team has a certain number of women that are going to be in the relay, certain number of men, and it appears as though it's to their discretion when and where they want to place the women in the race and place the men. And it appears as though one team had the man as the opening leg, the rest of the teams had women in the opening leg. And just compare the physiological output that produces speed from the man to the woman. Here we go.
In the starter's hands. So let's see Asafa Power. He got away as you'd expect. He's going to gobble up the lead early. Puts a ball. Riley Day, Usain's off.
United States though. America in front. Jamaica in third or maybe even second place now.
And a back straight from the US team. Fantastic to see her back at this did. It's the Polish quartet. And Melko here running on the second leg for the Polish quartet. He's put down. And in fourth place is Zoe Clark for Great Britain. So Amelka comes over to the changeover. We'll have two Polish women now on the last two legs.
To be crowned. It's fighting Ursutic. And it's Michael Cherry storming round that bend trying to close the gap. And look at the speed with which Cherry takes the Polish woman. She's grimacing and she's being reeled in here to get caught here, but can she hang on for a medal? The gold is going to go to Michael Cherry, and the Alison Felix moves to 12 world titles. Really close on the line.
Well, there you have it. Just a little more evidence of apparently men having an advantage over women in sports. But if you just call the man a woman, compete against actual women, then we pretend there's no advantage. When it comes to combat sports like boxing and USA Boxing's new transgender policy of allowing men to compete against women so long as they meet certain mutilation and hormonal replacement guidelines, you just have to use your imagination and wonder, is there potential for grave physical danger of women if they are forced to compete against men? Now, what's the solution? A little while back, we did a reaction video about a jiu-jitsu competitor named Jaden, was in a jiu-jitsu tournament, was plotted she had to compete against a man, and her and some others withdrew from the tournament. They boycotted it because they said, this is a combat sport. I signed up to compete against women and you're giving me a male component? No, I'm not competing. And the governing body changed their rules. I would dare say now the task is on women's boxers. The fate is in their hands because obviously the corrupt satanic agenda has infiltrated USA Boxing, but the power is always in our hands. Just the question is, do we realize it or not? I hope the women boxers do realize it, claim their power, and exercise that power. With that said, my beautiful freedom-loving friend, this has been the good news of boxing just getting a little bit more inclusive. What could go wrong? Nothing. It's going to be even fairer, even safer. Okay, can't wait. Look forward to seeing you on our next video. Thank you for watching, but before you go, here's a quick message. Parkour, I get stressed. You and I also live in a world filled with toxins, plus I like to look good and feel good. And I'm someone who wants to take control of my health. But the problem is there's only so much time in the day. So how are you going to meet all these health objectives? Well, problem solved with the Bond Charge infrared sauna blanket. The infrared sauna blanket is my favorite sauna system I have ever found. It's the most cost-effective sauna system on the market. Plus, it's compact so it doesn't clutter up and take valuable space up in your home. The infrared sauna helps your body detoxify. It elevates your metabolism. You can burn up to 600 calories in a single sauna session. It reduces stress, promotes relaxation, helps with your sleep, and boosts those fat-burning heat shock proteins, my friend. Once I started using the Bond Charge infrared sauna blanket, it was like a dream come true because it helps me accomplish many health objectives all at once. Bond Charge makes infrared saunas easy, accessible, and affordable to you. If you want to start taking more control of your health with one of the most potent health devices on the market, then just go to bondcharge.com/JPReacts, and while you're there, be sure to use the discount code JPReacts for 15% off. Enjoy, my friend.